Hey, welcome back, comic fans. It's Mr. Q Comics back with some more show and tell. Today I've got a fantastic haul. I picked up a collection about 6 weeks back in the middle of the summer. I'm shooting this this video the first week of September here. Finally got around to getting these books together. It was a pretty decent sized collection, about 1,600 books that I picked up at a yard sale actually. So before we get into the books, if you're a fan of haul videos, please do me a favor. Go down below, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and leave me some comments. Let me know what you think about these books. So as I said, I picked these up at a yard sale. For any of you who watch my videos, I do a lot of traveling for work. And when I'm on a road trip, when I'm driving, I like to hit up local flea markets or antique shops, whatever I can find, new places where I can, look for comics. So I was heading out on a Sunday. I opted to go to my local flea market and antique shops. And as I was driving through, on the road, I passed a yard sale. And when I stopped, I won't bore you with the lengthy details of the exchange. It ended up, he had no comics out, but I asked. His buddy said, yeah, I think he was inside dealing with another guy. So his buddy was out there helping him. Told me, yeah, I'm pretty sure he has some. After a long wait, I finally got to talk to the guy. He wasn't really looking to sell, but he was willing to entertain an offer. So I'm thinking he has a small stack of books, which is what his buddy had said. And he lets me in this house, and he ends up having 1,600 books. Long story short, he had been a dealer, like an antiques dealer locally, also a comic collector, had sold off most of his really good books like 4 years prior to purchase the house he was at. He mentioned he had like an Avengers 1, and you could tell as you go through the collection, he had a lot of the big modern keys that had already been sold off. And he was referring to this as the scraps, which I would say is probably a fair assessment. But as I got digging, I found, there were some good keys in there. And he knew what he had. He knew he had a lot of, $50 books. Anyways, we ended up settling on what I considered a pretty decent price. Honestly, I didn't get to go through everything during the exchange, so I wasn't really sure. But I'll tell you what I paid at the end. So let's dive into these books before I ramble too long. Out of the gate, nothing special, but this is just a nostalgia book for me. Ren and Stimpy #1. This is in the Scratch and Sniff polybag. So just nostalgia buy for me. I love this cartoon as a kid. All right, a couple of books that, I remember a lot of people talking about these for a while. Superman, Batman 22 and 23. First appearance of Batman Beyond and continuity. These things have really cooled off. I think I see people selling pairs of these for like 10, 15 bucks. But I remember a whole lot of heated exchange on social media about this character and about these books. So I thought it was funny that those were in there. I think they had the whole run of Superman, Batman. Not the whole run, but 30 straight books. Something like that. So we've got Infinite Crisis #5. This is the Jim Lee cover. This is the first appearance of Jamie Reyes, Blue Beetle. And I'm going to try and tear through these guys because there are a lot of books. Like I said, this is a 1,600 book collection. I have kind of cherry picked out some of the better books. I've already sold off a bunch, but we've got Astonishing Tales #6. This is first appearance of Bobby Morse. Becomes Mockingbird. Pretty decent shape. I think probably mid-grade range on that. All right, some cool books. This one's for me. I do not have this. It is, of course, a reprint. We got the Free Comic Book Day, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. This is actually from 2009. This, surprisingly, I didn't realize this thing went for this much. It's like a $40, $50 book in near mint condition. I'm not sure why. I feel like they reprint this every single year for Free Comic Book Day, so I don't know why this one in particular is that expensive, but it's a really nice copy in near mint condition. So that is one I'm going to add to the PC. Along with this one, we've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures #1, the newsstand copy. Decent shape. This one's probably VF near mint range. This is just the first issue in the first ongoing series. I think there's another series before, but I think that was a limited series. So very cool book there. And this guy took care of his books. Most of it was bagged and board. There was some loose stuff, but that was the other thing. I was kind of trying to be quick. You don't get to check the condition a lot, so I was a little nervous after buying this that did I get a good buy? But We got Conan 241 newsstand copy. This is just an awesome McFarlane cover, so I just wanted to highlight it. This guy was like right up my alley with the collecting. He had big runs of Amazing Spider-Man, a lot of Bronze Age stuff, a ton of McFarlane covers. He was into a lot of the similar type of art than I am, so this collection was right up my alley. We've got Image United #1. I had never seen this. It's a McFarlane cover. I think this is a book they put out where all the creators collaborated, and it's like stories with all of their Image characters in one book. I had never seen it. There's a bunch of variants. I don't know what this one goes for. I don't think it's too expensive, but I thought it was a cool McFarlane cover. Really nice condition. So another one I had never seen. I'm not a Crow fan. I know a lot of people are, but we've got the Crow #1 from Image. I think this is, I don't know if it's a ratio or not, but it's a McFarlane variant. Expensive book when I looked it up, probably a $50 book, I believe, something in that range. And this is a nice copy in near mint condition. Another McFarlane one. We got Spawn 100. I think this is the Death of Angela. So I believe this is the book where he got sued over Angela and had to kill her off in Image here. So, and it's just a cool McFarlane cover, of course. I don't know if it's a variant or not. I think that's the cover A. I could be wrong, but cool, very cool book. Unfortunately, this one is not in better shape, but we've got Coyote #11. This is probably mid-grade. This one was beat up. This is the first published artwork from McFarlane, so a must-have, I would say, for any McFarlane collector. Another very cool cover. Stephen Platt book. We've got Mark Spector, Moon Knight #57. This is in really nice shape as well. This is, this has got a shot at a 9.6, a 9.8. I don't know what this goes for raw. I just sold one of my 9.8s, and I think it went for only like $200. I was a little surprised, but I did put it up for auction. So sometimes you don't get as much, but I've somehow stumbled into a lot of really crispy copies of this book. But very cool to find that. Here's a book I had never picked up before. This book's not as expensive as I thought it was. I think it got HUD at one point. I don't really recall why, but I do not have it. We got V for Vendetta by Alan Moore. This is book 1. He didn't have the whole run, but I think he had like 7 of the books. I think this is a 10-book series. So I've never read this. I have seen the movie whenever it came out. I know it's a while now, but not in great shape either. Probably VF, which was surprising for this guy's collection. A lot of his stuff is in really nice shape. So we've got a copy of Watchman #1. I don't know what kind of shape this was in. This is probably VF as well. So obviously iconic, just classic DC storyline. I already had this one in really nice shape, and I think that was the only one. I don't think he had any other Watchmen in the collection. All right, this guy bought like all the Gen 13 books, so I'm just picking out a couple. I mean, he had like the first 2 series. I'm forgetting if these covers are from Volume 1 or I think they're from Volume 2, the ongoing series. There's a ton of variants. He had like all of them, so I'm just gonna highlight a couple. We have got the Lon Gen cover, whatever. I don't know. They have these weird names where they, make sure they get Gen in there. So this is a pretty expensive variant for this book. I think it's like a $50 book, and this is a really sharp copy. And then I believe this is the most expensive variant from this series. We've got I'll call it the Janet Jackson cover. It's definitely a ripoff. I forget the album, but this is like a $100 book in near mint condition. I think obviously for the right buyer. So have never come across these ever. I've come across a lot of the Gen 13 books, but usually it's like the Pulp Fiction cover. So I knew this was worth something, but when I looked it up, I was shocked that it's like a $100 book raw. All right, this is another variant, very cool cover. This is Justice 5. This is the second print in just a very cool Alex Ross Shazam cover. I think it's like a $25, $30 book, something like that. All right, this guy had a ton of Marvel Zombies. I've never bought the Marvel Zombie series. He had like every Marvel Zombies book I think that's been put out. So these are all great covers by, I might butcher it, Arthur Sidan, I believe. So we'll just do the volume #1. Unfortunately, oh man, this is like the roughest book in the collection, with the exception of his Silver Age. We got number 1. You can't see it, but it's like creased. This is like a VG copy. So he only had 1 copy of issue number 1. I suspect he had more, and those are some of the books he sold off, 4 years ago. This might have been, pretty hot at the time, so he got rid of it then. We've got multiple copies of this. Issue number 1, the variant, the ASM 50 homage. Oh, I got a fall over there. All in really good shape. So we have 3 copies of those. And I mean, I think I got 3 copies of like every issue. So we've got number 2, the Avengers 4 homage. One of the bigger ones here in the run, other than number 1. Number 3, of course, the Hulk 340 homage. Got, again, 3 of those. Beautiful books. Awesome cover. This one always reminds me of the Gremlins, actually. So that's what I think of every time I see this one with the eyeball popping out. I don't know why I always think of the the Gremlins in the scene where they attack the mom when she's baking cookies and she slaughters them all in the kitchen. I don't know. That's what it makes me think of. We got number 3, the variant, which is the Elektra, one of the Frank Miller Daredevil covers. I'm forgetting which issue it is. But I think these are every one of these covers, I'm pretty sure, is an homage, right? Number 4, we got an X-Men 1 homage. And, there's a variant, number 4, the ASM 39. Awesome. Just killer art. And then multiple copies of number 5. The Spidey annual, I think it's 21, Wedding. Very cool. All in really good shape. Those still command a good chunk of money. Like I said, he had 2, 3, however many. I think there's like 5 series. So he just obviously was a fan of Marvel Zombies. And also Arthur Sidan. There were a ton of books, modern books that had Sidan covers. And some image books from Sidan that weren't super valuable. But I found a lot of that stuff in there. A little bit of his Spidey, like I said, he had a whole bunch of Bronze Age from like the mid 100s, just right on up. So, I mean, hundreds of Spidey books, which is always a good sign when you're picking up a collection if you got ASM. So we got 365. First appearance, I guess, of Spider-Man 2099. I feel like it's just a poster or an ad, but everyone considers it the first appearance. This book, like Spider-Man 2099, number 1, has seemed to have cooled off. To me, I feel like everyone's kind of got a copy. We've got 529, first appearance of Iron Spider. A classic killer Scotty Young cover. Always love this one. 611, the Deadpool cover. I think this is the first print. The second printing, he's saying something different in the word bubble. I feel like the second print's more expensive. I could be wrong. And I forget what it says on the second print, but I'm not a huge Scotty Young guy. I do love that cover. Okay, here's a couple from previous hot lists that seem like they have gone down a bit. We've got 637 Grim Hunt Part 4. So I think this is the first Julia Carpenter as Madam Web. I think it's a Fox, whatever, the Sonyverse. I'm drawing a blank. The movie that's coming out, the Madam Web movie, I'm saying Fox, I think it's Sony. I'm sure I'm getting that wrong. I'm drawing a blank right now, but I believe Dakota something playing Julia Carpenter in that. I forget. The girl from 50 Shades of Grey. That's all I know her as. And we've got Friendly Spider-Man number 6. First appearance of El Muerta. I know this got hot, like super hot, a couple months back. I can't remember why, if they announced a movie for this character or something. I don't even know who this guy is, but I recognized the book immediately. I think the guy had the full set of this. So this one was in there. Most of the modern books are like VF near mint. Very few of them are below that. A lot of them just look completely untouched. But some of his older books are beat up. We've got Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, a newsstand copy. This is the first appearance of Firestar. In comics, straight out of the cartoons, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, which I absolutely loved watching as a little kid. Probably my introduction to Spider-Man. That and the Spider-Man on the Electric Company, if anyone remembers that. But Love that. I keep finding those recently. Another book that once was hot, now is not. Marvel Premiere number 10, first appearance of Shuma Gorath. This thing was crazy expensive prior to Multiverse of Madness. I am sure it has dropped off a cliff. This one is really, really rough. One of the lower grade books in the collection here, but still very cool. Doctor Strange key, nevertheless. Random DC book. Did not have a lot of DC. Some Batman, but a lot of it was kind of filler Copper Age Batman stuff. A couple of good books, though. We're going to Demon number 1, always a classic. This one's got a wicked spine roll. So, low shape, or low grade, but still very cool. All right, here is a cool book. I have never come across. This is, again, really beat up. This one is probably in the... I wrote it down somewhere. Can't find it, but it's like good, very good. Marvel Tales, number 1. It says annual. I guess the first 2 books, they printed them as Marvel Tales annual. But so this reprints all these classic first appearances. AF-15, Incredible Hulk 1, Tales of Suspense 39, Journey into Mystery 83. I just saw, sales of like VF copies of this going for like over $1,000. Crazy for a reprint book. I don't remember when this one was printed exactly, but yeah, I didn't write it down. But still, very cool book. Again, it's rough, really low grade. Another book that was hot for a while and has cooled off after the shows. We've got Strange Tales 159, first appearance of Elaine from Seinfeld. I'm sorry, it's Contessa Valentina or something. It's a really long name. I cannot. Sorry, every time I see her, it's Elaine from Seinfeld. So this is in really rough shape. This got some really wicked bad foxing, but cool Steranko cover, and of course a key book. I don't know if she'll be showing up again, I guess. Tied to the Thunderbolts, possibly. I am so behind on MCU stuff that I don't even know who's popping up on which shows. Honestly, there's just... I think I mentioned in my last video, I'm a little burnt out on the MCU stuff. It's a little... It's like they're trying to do everything now, and it's, it's just a little too much, but just my opinion. All right. Beautiful book here. Love the yellow cover. We got Avengers 52. This is the first appearance of the Grim Reaper. This is a really nice mid-grade copy. A classic Buscema cover. X-Men vs. Avengers in issue number 53. Again, decent mid-grade copy. A little pen on the top, but that one is always a classic. All right, for Black Panther 2, we got number 62. First appearance of M'Baku. This one is pretty rough. There's some tape pulling stains there, so this one's probably around a VG range. A little stain down there. Not too bad. Classic Wolverine cover here. We have got Wolverine number 8. This is just that iconic, again, Buscema cover. Just love this one. Probably my favorite book in the set other than number 1. Let me see here how many more books we got. All right, let's do these guys. Next, we've got some Silver Age Thor 166. Second appearance of Adam Warlock. This one is in pretty solid shape. This is probably fine. Very fine range. And then we have got Thor 126. So this is Thor versus Hercules on the cover, but this is the issue when the when Journey into Mystery gets retitled into or as Thor. Back to some modern books. We got Predator number 1. First appearance of Predator in the comics. This is probably VF near mid-range. Again, you can see this guy was calling this stuff the scraps. So it just goes to show you how much the comic industry can change over a short period of time, because so many of these books, he's right. When I look at them, like, some of these were not really worth anything 4 years ago. And now, like that Predator book, I don't think that was a, what is it, a $60 book right now in raw condition. It definitely wasn't that 4 years ago. Same with Marvel Spotlight number 28. Obviously got hot because of the Moon Knight show. This one's beat up, VG range, but for a solo Moon Knight story. All right, on to some X-Men. Always a classic. These ones are rough. All his X-Men books were rough, and he did not have many. I was surprised by that. We got 137. Dark Phoenix Saga, I think, yeah, part 9. Death of the Phoenix. And then we've got issue 130, a nice key here. First appearance of Dazzler. Again, rough shape. Most of these, I think, were in like the VG range here. VG fine. And then this one is super rough. I mean, this is probably good, very good. But we've got 266. First appearance of Gambit. This one is actually a Mark Jewelers variant. So this is one of the ones that was loose, floating around in the boxes. And it's funny because I bought this at the beginning of my road trip. So I had to fill my car with all of these books. And then I'm driving to like Western New York, which is like a 6-hour drive for me. So I've got all of these books that I'm dying to go through, and I'm stuck driving for like 6 hours. And I got like boxes on the front seat of my car, and I'm kind of thumbing through them to look. And this is one of the ones as I'm kind of sitting in a parking lot flipping through. I'm like, oh man, first Gambit. And then I noticed when I got to the hotel, like it was the Mark Jewelers. So very cool there. Don't know what that goes for. It's so tough to price it out when it's in really rough shape like that. All right, this is a cool book for all you Ninja Turtle fans here. We got Usagi Yojimbo #1. I think this is in VF near mid-range, first solo series. And it's super happy to get this book. I just showed this off, I think, at a CGC haul. I've got it in a 9.6, one I bought off eBay, and it's a book I want to keep, but I kind of want to just get rid of the slab copy. So very happy he had another copy in there so I can keep the raw copy. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures #1. This is the first series, the mini-series. Yeah, 3-issue mini-series. First appearance of Krang, Bebop, and Rocksteady. So, very cool book there. All right, last like 15 books, I think. Sorry, big haul. Hopefully I'm not going too long. We got Conan #23. First appearance of Red Sonja. Really rough copy. Another book that 4 years ago no one really cared about, but Marvel Premiere 28, again, low-grade copy. First appearance of the Legion of Monsters. This was one of the books as I was thumbing through. It's like one of the first keys I saw on the Marvel Spotlight 28, which made me start thinking, okay, maybe there's something here. So we've got Journey into Mystery, annual #1, first appearance of Hercules. Again, rough copy. A lot of his Silver Age books were really beat. He had a lot of Thor Silver Age, a lot of filler books. Any of the big keys he had sold off, so there's no like 165, no first Adam Warlock, but he had the second. All right, he had like the whole McFarlane run of ASM. So this is 306, the Action Comics homage. This is a Mark Jewelers variant in around VF range, so I didn't realize this one went for as much as it did. This can be in the $100 range. He had the whole run of McFarlane, and quite a few of them were Mark Jewelers, so I already got rid of a lot of the Mark Jewelers variants. I just personally don't chase those down, but this one I thought was super cool as a Mark Jewelers, so I held on to that one for now anyways. All right, these, again, 4 years ago, no one cared about this book. But now it is hot. We got Amazing Spider-Man 210, first appearance of Madam Web. This is the one that commands the most money, even though I'm pretty sure the movie's Julia Carpenter. So look at 2 copies of that, one newsstand, one direct. I think they're both mid-grade range, so very cool to find those. Oh, and these I was stoked to find. I don't know if these were not going for much 4 years ago, but man, these things are expensive now. Love these covers. For any of you J. Scott Campbell fans, Amazing Spider-Man 601. This is the big one. These are really nice. He's got all of them in there. I was so excited they were in there. But 601, 606, and 607. So very expensive books. I think I'm going to get these slabbed. I think some of these got a shot at a 9.8. So very happy those were in there. This was, again, the way he had it broken up, all his modern Spideys were just in the run, and I did not, a lot of these keys that I'm pulling out, I did not actually get my hands on as I was going through the collection, and we were kind of making the deal. Spidey 100. He didn't have a ton of Silver Age Spidey. I think this is one of the few. Really rough, probably good range. The cover's detached, but still just an awesome classic Spidey cover. Like I said he had the whole ASM run. He actually didn't. All the keys were gone. The 290, not all the keys. 298, 299, 300, and 301 were not there. I am sure he had them multiple times over and sold them, but these were still in there. 316. He had 2 copies. Not sure why these were still in there, but they were. Not in the best of shape. He's like a newsstand copy as well. Probably closer to VG range, but still awesome books. This book still commands a premium. Then, as I said, big McFarlane guy. Happy to find this. I've got a few copies of this. I don't think I have the newsstand copy, but that's what he had. Batman 423, just an awesome cover. I've had this book since I was a kid. I think I had the 3rd printing as a kid, and I just picked it up. I wasn't even a Batman fan, but I absolutely love this cover. One of my all-time favorite McFarlane covers. And this book has continued to go up in value. When I got back into collecting in 2015, I was able to buy this near mint copies for less than $20. And I think this newsstand copy, even in this fine, very fine condition it's in, is like $100 book because it's a newsstand. So awesome pickup there. Another book I'm a little surprised was in there. We're down to the last 3. Maybe it just was not as expensive 4 years ago, but he did have a copy of Amazing Spider-Man 194. Solid mid-grade copy. First appearance of the Black Cat. So awesome stuff there. And final 2 will stay in the personal collection. I do not come across foreign comics, but he had a number of issues. Couldn't research them all. A lot of them having trouble figuring out if they're worth anything, but this one I knew right away. It is the Amazing Spider-Man. Reprints 290. I think it says 299 and 300. It's the Italian version. Awesome cover. Obviously, it's the Spidey 300 cover, but I love the black background. This one's in VF. It's got a lot of ticks and stuff like that. So don't know what this goes for. I think it can be around $200, but very cool. I will be holding on to that one for the Spidey collection. So super happy to find that. Like I said, a number of foreign comics, which is really cool because I don't have a lot of those, and I think it's just neat getting these reprints from other countries. And finally, this is one I saw flipping through, and I knew immediately not to get too excited because this guy knew exactly what he had. He was a collector. He knew it was in there. He knew there were some books of value, so I knew it wasn't going to be the original. But still, how exciting was you flipping through boxes to see that one pop up. Journey into Mystery 83, the Golden Record reprint. This one is shredded. It's in the good range. I'm pretty sure it's split down the spine. But man, you could easily get thrown thinking this is an original if you don't know the Golden Record reprints. But very cool book. I will be holding on to that even though it is completely shredded. So yeah, super excited about this. Like I said, I'm flipping through quickly, and I don't know what this is really worth, and I don't want to spend a huge amount of money. Like I don't want to get up to 4 figures with the guy. So I throw out an offer initially. He's not giving me much. We're off. I work my way up to like $400 or $500. And then he just flat out says, 800 is my bottom line. And I was like, oh, $800. Because again, I'm not going through it. The first couple boxes I went through were like copper and Bronze Age filler, loose copies of Web of Spider-Man. This collection's got a ton of filler. So I didn't get hands on everything. I saw a couple of the keys, but I couldn't pull them out and look and make sure they're complete. So I had seen enough that I felt like, you know what, at the very least, I would break even on this. So super happy I pulled the trigger. Again, he knew exactly what he had. He was adamant. I don't want to piece it off. I just want to get rid of it at this point. If you can do 800, it's yours today. And I was like, I'm not going to pass it up. So super, super happy to have stumbled into this. You just got to be patient at those yard sales. You got to ask. I mean, I had to hang back for like 30, 40 minutes to kind of get some FaceTime with the guy, thinking maybe it'll work out. I'm glad it did. He was stoked to get rid of it. And, that's my favorite part of hunting, the interactions like this, So I probably spent an hour or so, and just shooting the breeze with the guy. And he was selling off all of the last bit of his comics and antiques and stuff to kind of fund. He's in a band, a local rock band, and he wanted to pursue that career. And it was just a super cool experience. I got some amazing books, a lot of very cool runs and stuff I haven't shown off that were really easy to kind of unload, at really, cheap prices on eBay. So just overall, fantastic pickup. Super excited about these books. So Again, if you're a fan of this stuff, guys, go down below, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and let me know what you think. We'll talk to you soon.